Live from Santa Clara, California, it's Skewed News with David Hunter, Esmeralda Tovar, and our on-site reporter, Mariana Aguilar Rivera. From Loyola Room 31, it's Skewed News.
Good evening. My name is David Hunter.
My name is Esmeralda Tovar.
And you're watching Skewed News. Tonight's topic, classroom management. How important is it really?
It's actually more important than you think, Dave.
Is it?
Yes, it makes a difference because your kids can end up stupid or learning very effectively.
Interesting. All right, sounds like we've got some good stuff coming up ahead. But before we get to that, a word from our sponsor.
The following advertisement is funded by Cheryl McElvain Classroom Management University, preparing tomorrow's teachers today.
Everything is under control. No. Monsters! What are you doing with this?
Whoa there, Arnie. Looks like you're 1 second away from becoming a reactive teacher instead of a proactive teacher.
Hi, my name is Mr. Guzman, and I'm a classroom management personal trainer at Cheryl McElvain Classroom Management University. If you're looking to become a better teacher by mastering your classroom management plan and learning effective strategies and techniques, then you need to enroll in one of our coaching and personal training programs today!
Personal training sessions include topics like consistency, positive expectations, routines and procedures, rewards and consequences, classroom arrangement, and so much more. Learn about ways to create and implement elements of any successful classroom management plan that is bound to foster a productive and safe learning environment. Examples include how to arrange your classroom in order to promote a positive learning environment. Learn how to write and establish rules or guidelines that will effectively communicate your positive expectations for students. Need help with creating a fair consequence system when students don't meet your expectations? No problem. Personal trainers like myself are here to help. But remember, keep things positive and reward students for positive behavior. We could help coach you about implementing a positive and praise reward system like this.
Personal training coaches will also teach you about the proper form when implementing concrete instructional, attention-getting, and checking for understanding strategies. Three, two, one. Alright students, so let's take this equation for example. 3 plus 7 equals... Guys, I need your attention. Please, Thank you. As I was saying, 3 plus 7 is 10, yes. So what are you waiting for? Enroll now!
Now! Go for it. Welcome back. Now, as I said before, tonight's topic is classroom management.
Tonight, we will be hearing from our on-field reporter, Mariana, who is with a local high school teacher on how to keep your child engaged.
We're here at Leland High School today talking to Mr. Rivera about his philosophy and teaching and why and how he employs classroom management. Let's take a look inside. The first thing I noticed was that Mr. Rivera set himself in front of his classroom at the door and greeted his students as they came in. To me, this seemed to set the tone for the students in terms of them coming into a caring environment. My first question is, what does classroom management look like to you?
Well, I guess I take that question as what does a managed classroom look like versus what are the steps that you implement to get your class to act and behave the way you want it to.
Okay.
So that's how I think of classroom management. It's basically stuff that you do that is often unseen or that no one even knows that you're actually doing it. That takes a lot of the issues, prevents them from even happening. So, example of techniques that I use to manage my classroom is first give them something to do at the very beginning of class before the bell rings. So there's already a task that they need to be doing that encourages them to quickly get into their seats and have either a paper out or do some activity getting them ready for the lesson. I use warm-ups. It's a question that they have. First thing in the classroom, it's clear, it's on the board. Everyone knows that you need to be in your seat with a paper out ready to begin. Okay, that's one thing.
Do you have a philosophy about your profession?
Yeah, I guess so. I do. I mean, really, it's. I mean, I love science, and that's kind of important to love the subject that you're teaching. But also, I feel that my purpose is to get students engaged in science and think about science in a way that will help them in the future make decisions that are evidence-based. But also, I feel like the student that is overlooked, the students that is marginalized, the student that might have the feeling that they don't belong, the ones that are floating by, skating by, those are my targets. And it's usually my mission to get at least 3 or 4 or 5 of those students back into the game and then back engaged in school. Another technique during when they need to be doing a task or even when I'm lecturing or anything like that, it's called proximity. And generally the behavior goes away when you get close to them. So often you can see a behavior that might start to happen. You know, maybe they might start to have a side conversation or something. And if you just move in the direction of where they are, they tend to stop. Without you having to actually address them, you just look at them and you're moving towards them and they stop and they refocus, right? Also, not having my back towards the majority of the classroom. Always keeping my body in front, not in front of the classroom, but facing their direction. So as I'm walking around the room, I'm positioning myself in a way that shows that they can see my face pretty much at all time in all directions of the room. Again, if they see your face in their direction, they tend to stay on task more.
How would you describe the students that you work with?
It depends on the class. My AP Environmental Science class, 90% of them are college bound. They know what they want to do. They're very motivated. With 10% being students that are taking the class because either they like it or because they want a third year science or thinking that they can do this AP class, but maybe they're in over their head missing prerequisites or something. My biology class, that is the full gamut. I see the full spectrum of student in that class, from the highly motivated GATE student to the not very motivated GATE student to the special needs with learning difficulties that require advanced modifications to allow them to access the material, to the point of even giving them a modified grade. And then everything in between in one class period. So it really can be challenging to teach to those not necessarily different learning styles, but to make the curriculum accessible to everybody keeping the gate kids totally engaged and furthering their knowledge, at the same time keeping the student that has had F's his entire life in science, that hates school, somehow get that student engaged and producing. Well, my classroom, it always starts this way in rows. Eyes front, face front. And there's a warm-up usually on the board. But I can move this classroom around, and the students move it around quickly too. When we do pair work, we squeeze together or we break into quads. But we always start out facing front. And I do that because it's traditional in the respect that if I want to give them direct instruction, a direction, eyes front first. And then once they have their task and they know what to do, then they can break up into groups and then kind of spread out around the room.
Wow. Looks like Mr. Rivera really has a lot to manage in his classroom.
Was that supposed to be funny?
I'm David Hunter.
And I'm Esmeralda Tovar, telling you to have a good night.
And stay reflective, Santa Clara. Line?
We'll do it live.
Yeah. Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Ready?
Yeah. Wow, that's some pretty hard-hitting stuff there, Mariana.
Mariana, what was the most interesting... No, I failed. You confused me.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just throwing my
Sorry.
laughter away. Okay.
Okay. Stop laughing.